This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the Waffle and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.
Welcome to Steel Blue Oval here in Bassendean, Western Australia on a cold and wet afternoon. It's finals football, the preliminary final between East Fremantle. East Fremantle didn't make the finals. Between Swan Districts, who are on screen right now, and the Peel Thunder Football Club, last year's premiers. I said that probably weather takes it a little bit away from the speedsters in this game. It should still be a quality game. This ground was underwater earlier today. It's drained beautifully. Over at the other ground, we've got Subiaco leading Claremont at Revo Fitness Stadium 11 points to 7 in a slippery, tough affair over there. We're going to bring you all the action, and we're going to be able to find out who is going into the grand final with a week off and who has to play the winner from the Subiaco Claremont elimination final. We'll be back to introduce my co-commentator, a very special guest, a very knowledgeable person, after this break.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Rule 1. No internet searching.
New Optus Pause puts the Optus Living Network in your hands. It allows you to pause your Optus mobile and home Wi-Fi connections with one touch, because sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
What can be broken but can't be held?
It starts with yes.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
And on screen, the Swan Districts team just going through the warm-ups. Matt Riggio there, the midfield coach, and he's been passing on his knowledge and experience to this group. Head-to-head, these teams, they've played 8 times. Swans have won 6. Obviously, that leaves 2 wins for Thunder. No draws, 75% win ratio. Last time they met, Peel Thunder defeated Swan Districts at David Gray's Arena, which, of course, is the venue for the grand final in 2021. Otherwise, it reads Swan Districts defeated Peel in the game prior, and in round 3 earlier this year, Peel Thunder were defeated by Swan Districts at David Gray. So sharing the honours in 2021, Sarah Verrier on screen. I'm introducing Jen Wallace here to co-commentate today and provide some insights. We see Sarah Verrier, a very important player, a Fremantle docker and a young gun.
Yeah, a young gun, and someone, as you said, you just started to touch on it, important in for Peel, just to bring that experience and that just acceleration and agility. We know that the weather's going to come in at some point over today. There's patches of the ground that are a bit boggy, but there's other patches that have drained exceptionally well, which leads into players of her class being able to shine today.
Last year we played an event game here in the rain where Swan Districts won the toss and kicked to the shallow end and relegated Subiaco to the deep end. It was a tough game of footy. It looked much better out there today, but as you mentioned off camera, off air, I should say. The very dark cloud cover coming in. Steph Kane in picture with both the hides. I think I can see Brianna tucked in, but with Michaela tucked in behind Steph there. Yes, it is. Michaela Hyde, the Fremantle Docker, re-signed. Steph Kane as well, fantastic player. And Bree Hyde's had a good season too. Militia Hardy, and back in Bella Edgley. Played in the 19th game in South Australia. Horrible dislocated finger. Wasn't able to go to Victoria. Sarah Welstra, one of a number of players that will be tested at the Combine. Bianca Webb on screen as well. Been a good unit this year, and I don't think they've got a few injuries, but I don't think they lack any talent across the board. We can see Sabrina Duffy and Abby Barnden on picture here. Duffy's a big in.
A huge in. Look, so far in the WAFLW season, she hasn't had to have too much influence. Played 12 games, 1 goal, 3 behinds for her so far. But this is a big game, and this is where those sorts of AFLW listed players start to rev up that slight bit more, don't they? So I expect her to find her way to get in and around and impact the game a bit more this week.
A number of guns in the picture there too. Aisha Wright, state 19 at 16 years of age. Katie Jane Grieve, Paula Barnd and Jade Britton flashes across the screen. Ella Roberts, Kate Bartlett, number 10, leads the goal kicking this year. She's sewn that up during the season, and Gracie Fenton in the front. I think I called Gracie Jess Fenton last week. No one called me from the Fenton family because Jess, of course, older sister, also played state 18s and a lot of footy for Peel Thunder Footy Club. Number 15 there, Bianca Webb. Very, very good player. Fast and hard. She's trained with the likes of Kiara Bowers the last 2 seasons, so that's definitely rubbing off on her game.
Well, if you're going to attempt to stay up with Kiara Bowers, you're going to develop a really good engine and an ability to run at pace for a long time. That's the trademark of Bowers, isn't it? So anyone that's trying to copy that, well, that's something that we all get to just be fans of in the next couple of years. Just come off
turbo for a bit. Just jump onto Antonio for me. And then when you're done that, we're just going to get you around with Steph Kane. So, yeah, she did develop a big tank through Trent Cooper's program and such great mentors. And at Church, Cara Phillips. It is a good game today, well matched. Lauren Quaife will lead the ruck against Sarah Lakay. A number of ruckmen that can change through for Swan districts, whereas Peel will be really reliant on Quaife's jump and contest at the stoppages.
As they will with their targets up forward are pretty obvious, aren't they, with Bartlett and Phillips just dominating the goal kicking. They've also got young gun Ella Roberts is also in the top 5 goal kickers this year. So they've got 3 of the top 5 goal kickers listed in this Peel Thunder side. Completely different to Swans, who really spread it around and play a bit more quick, get their free-flowing general play sort of goals. So 2 really different matchups in that sense. So I think Wilstra might be the highest goal kicker, goal scorer for Swans with 12 versus a 35 and a 20 in Bartlett and then Phillips. So really different forward targets for the 2 teams.
That's right, and a lot of teammates out there. You can see the Fremantle teammates, Katie Jane Grieve and Steph Kane, just having a cuddle on the close wing. Just got the umps checking on, we're ready to go. So that's really nice. Front row screens just in the box seat. Making the whole game wait for them, which is terrific. Sarah Lakay up in the ruck. Lauren Quaife's able to get that down. Emerging first is Fenton. Gives it off to Wrigley. Wrigley first foray forward. He chases this back. Just misreads it a little. Does enough to get Ella Roberts off the ball. The ever dangerous Ella Roberts. And this is Steph Kane. Steph Kane attacking move towards Stribley. Barnden's got her today. Barnden bigger. She's still got good runs. Stribley takes her on. Something she's done really well this year. Gets it forward and connects with Cameron. Seen this a few times here at Steel Blue Oval and on the AFLW fields. This is Amara Cameron's long ball into Welstra. Reads it well. It's defended nicely over the line by the Peel Thunder. We'll get a boundary throw in. That's Cassie Davison.
Promising start early there from Swans, the way they moved the ball off the back out through Kane. It was really quick out to the outside wing as well. And Cameron, she kicked 2-2 last week, so dangerous target up forward. Just throw in, gets come down through Swan districts, but did a bit of battling. Peel Thunder bring it out the back. Some hand passes going around through. There's Dowson now. She finds an outside runner in Duffy. Duffy puts it on the right and heads it along the outside, but intercept mark. So there's a turnover there for Swans. Just centre square side of the outside wing. Bringing it in forward. Dangerous inside 50 kick. It's tumbling forward here. Wilster again involved. Thrown on the boot there. I missed who that was though, and it tumbles through. First score of the day is behind.
I think that was Edwards. That's good tackle pressure coming from Demi Little. Just affected the final part of that little foray forward. Cassie Davison. I really liked her leadership since she's come back into this team. Really does provide a cool and calm decision maker. She plays on out of fullback. Drives the line, looking for Grieve over the back. It's Webb. She's in the hands of Fenton immediately. Webb again. Little chop forward. Go anywhere, nor does Fenton. Wrigley's in a tackle from East. They're hard to break. Two tough players go to ground. Just at half forward for Swan Districts. Good start from the mids in particular. This is LeKay. Thumps it forward, right hand down. East in pursuit. She pushes Grieve off it. Ends up in the hands of Fenton. Chased down by Kane. Gets her kick in just in time. Amy Ralph leads back on Ella Roberts. Ralph's a speedster. Clean Ella Roberts. Aisha Wright gets a little look. Paddle can't quite find the handle. The experience of Gelmy is able to clear for the Swans. And a good mark taken by Steph Kane on the wing.
Kane looks to come back into the corridor here. Nice little kick to Stribley. Maintains possession again. There's a free runner out. It's Webb. Just needs the ball to sit up. And Berrier rounds her up and help comes in. So we'll see a free kick given the way of Peel Thunder. As the players spread to the outside wing. Finds 45 release kick. Comes straight down the line. Dribbles in front. So both players on the ground now fighting for it. Dribbles out the back. Cleaned up here. Whistle blown. It's going to be a ball to Peel Thunder. It's Hyde deemed to infringe. She comes straight inside and connects with Fenton. Good young player, Fenton. She hits straight up the middle again. There's a pack of players. It's coming out towards Swan Districts. There's an intercept mark. Right at half-back line.
Taken by Dowson. She's starting to control things down there. She looks for Wrigley. Might be too much on it for her. Has to touch this before it goes over, and she's content just to run that over. Although, Hyde doesn't let her do so. It's Michaela Hyde a couple of times. She was deemed to have let the ball go with that handball in the tackle just a bit earlier. General is called. Trying to go through is East, in the hands of East eventually, from Webb. Going down the line again, coming back with courage was Barton. She doesn't lack any courage at all. Knew she was going to get collected. She works the ball across to Davison, or to Davison's advantage. She goes off the ground again too. Kayla Hyde comes from one side, Maguire for the other. Maguire's worked off the ball nicely. Ricochets between a couple of heads and finds Greaves. A couple of people just have a little eye-watering moment. This ball gets towards, trying to protect space rather than get the footy in this instance, but the tackle's a fierce one. And everything's okay. That was Hayes. All up on the wing on the far side. Just as the rain begins to fall, hopefully a passing shower. Won't affect the high-skilled players too much, and there's a lot of them out there today as Wrigley drives towards Roberts, chopping off Maguire. Roberts was held. Amy Ralph just grabbed a jumper. Want to do that at different times, Willow Roberts. Is on speed, so very agile. Smart football, and she finds Church at 49. Church holds up under pressure from Maguire. Dumped off the football behind, by the early work done by Bartlett. This one goes towards right. Chopped off by Michaela Hyde in the hands of Gelmy. She's looking down to her wing support through Webb. Webb, in turn, is trying to connect high with Tara Stribley. Tara Stribley, quite cleverly, just tips us over the line.
Also, it just keeps rebounding, doesn't it, at the moment?
It's the deepest entry they've had, though. Looked pretty good until just a little slip.
The rain looks to just have eased again now, so that's good news so far. It's throwing just a bit short of both rucks and just hold it in, cuddle it in until they get the whistle. We'll have a throw up here. Ball up, one down by Swan Districts, but straight to Peel Thunder. Get that through forward onto right here. He gets back quickly, puts it on the left. Nice forward 50 entry, and it's running to the advantage of Bartlett here. There's plenty of players coming through. She looks like she's been well tackled. No, it's come free. Kick through to behind. It's another good look chance for Peel Thunder, and scores are equal.
Roberts not happy. It's good play though. Bit of an adrenaline moment when Kate Bartlett looked like she was going to go at the back. She's very good at turning opponents and running towards goals. Good defence to stop that happening. Meanwhile, Britton fronts Webb, gets it to Hyde. Hyde with Welstra. Swan starting to construct. This kick won't be able to be marked. It's underground to Webb. Grieve comes off her line, knocks her off. Edwards shoved off by Barndon. Game's gone up physically. This is the players trying to find a handle as the rain comes. Running, grooming from Grieve after that little contest. Well struck. Quaife. Wrigley. Good tackle, Webb. No Pryor. Well, there was Pryor. Didn't make a considerable attempt. She did try to get through the back, I suppose. This ball goes towards Brianna Hyde. Brianna Hyde, little inside, uses a little ankle to get towards LeKay. The hands of Barndon. Grieve just drives the ball out of there. Hardy and Wright. Hardy trying to get a read. Wright trying to get the ball. Good smother, Hardy. Jumped on the Church kick. Sorry, it's the Bilsich kick. I think I keep calling her Church. It's definitely Bilsich in 17. Ball will be kicked out of there, but off the ball. The umpire's called an infringement.
Yeah, it is Bilchich at 17 on my list. I had that down as a question, so I was like, oh, maybe it is Church.
No, it was just me getting it wrong.
No,
it's
that's
definitely
okay.
Church in 17. She's been wearing it for a number, or she's wearing it for this year and last year. She's been an important player. Kicks it really well, Church.
Bilchich or Church?
Bilsich and Church both use the ball very well, yep. Is Bilsich out there today? Bilsich is out there today. Church is not.
So Wright puts it just over the top of the pack that was waiting. It carried further than they thought. Grieve trying to bust through the tackle. Great tackle from Maguire. Sends the ball spilling out. So umpires let it play on. But now it looks like it's going to be well held in. Great tackle there from the captain of the Swan Districts. Wilstra wins that tap down. It's Hyde who gets it on the boot, but as far as Phillips, who just soccers it off, doesn't decide to take possession herself, just puts it on the boot. It is an inside 50. It's a chaos ball at that. The rain's starting to come heavier. She follows up her work here, Phillips, and soccers again. It gets stuck in a puddle, so it doesn't go very far. So that's the stickiest part of the ground now, and Swan Districts get to work it away off the back of defence, and they're away here.
Lovely run from Cox. Country girl. These would not be unfamiliar conditions for her. She's a product of Keller Barron. Played at Swans for a long time. Stribley, Barndon chops her off. Support arrives in numbers. It's Fenton. Welstra for Swans. Ricocheting around now. Rain just did get heavier for a moment. Ball kicked out of there by Peel towards the line. Bartlett has gone to her knees a couple of times, and Osborne will like that all day long because she's pretty clean below the feet. But her kick doesn't connect. Cox can't get a finger on it, and it's rolled over the line, and her direct opponent, Kate Bartlett, has the footy at half forward. Flat, hard kick, probably not the go for today. Skids across and out of bounds for a kick in front of Ella Roberts.
It's going to be that composure when you've got the ball in hand, isn't it, for the teams today? Because you can see rushing through your skills a little bit here, and it can come off the boot so easily, can't it?
Saying that to Ralph, just a little rubber chest. Gives Peel a little look again. They're going to get a lick here through Kira Phillips. Kazi Phillips gets the ball up the chimney though this time. Could be a mark. It has travelled. Big numbers. It's Hardy kicking towards the top of 50. Bianca Webb tries the soccer skills. She is an ex-soccer player. It's Bilsich. Sells beautiful candy, and she'll get the shot from 45 guarding the line is Emily Maguire, and she's able to take the safe mark on the chest.
She's known for that, Maguire. So good at just getting back and sitting in the hole. And she comes out, takes some of the grass now. Good distance on this kick out from their defensive 50. Little hand pass to the outside runner, just gets behind her, so Peel with the chance to turn this over, and they've gotten that. Wrigley was away to Duffy. It's been called play on. It is, so she comes inside 50. Dangerous kick into the centre square, and it's just rebounded out off the foot of the Swans player. Another dangerous entry there from Peel Thunder.
Yeah, just a little shallow. They're doing the attacking at the moment. They set up well behind the ball. This throw-in will be a dangerous one too for Swannies. Welstra. Looks like Phillips will go up against her. He blocked a little by Henry, who's dropped off now. Smart play. Welstra down to Webb. Little jumper tug was okay. Trying to drive again. She really drives her legs through the stoppage. Ella Roberts. She's had a second crack too. She's third possession in 20 seconds, but this time it's chopped off by Hyde. Hyde kicks it out towards Hope Ugle. Hayward, she steps inside, hasn't got any support. In fact, knocked out of her hands by Bilsich, and Bilsich is going in for this a bit straighter too. This time, it's Emily Maguire's partner in crime, Lauren Osborne, and they've been terrific over a number of years together as Barton comes and takes this one off Wellstra. Barton in unfamiliar territory, at least this season, tries to connect with Roberts at the back of Hearn. Can't quite get the handle of Hearn. Bouncing around in there is Bella Mann. She's got a good foot on her if she can get secure this ball. There's a number of Peel players pounced upon Amy Ralph in the forward pocket.
So again, dangerous area here for Peel Thunder. Swan District's having to defend hard. Wilster up in the ruck, gets taller than Phillips and knocks it down. It looks like we'll go straight back up for another ball up, as no one was able to clear the area. Just the behind each as Wilshire again wins the tap down. Right in this puddle here, you can see it coming up off the boots as the players trample through the area. A free kick now awarded to Swan Districts. And they'll work it away. Dangerous kick though. Fenton in a good position, getting in front to intercept that ball inside 50. Swans recover out to Ugle Hayward. Just gets to settle a little bit. She's looking down the line. Tries to go long just under the smother attempt. Nice kick finds Edwards, who looks inside with the handball to Stribley. Can't be clean with it, so now there's a chance for Peel to arrive in numbers. Swans keep it tumbling forward, and this time it is Dowson who's just sitting off the back, able to intercept.
Should be Dowson. Gets it to the wing. Numbers with Swans. Edwards flies, so does East. Bilsich is a step ladder on this occasion. Probably feels a bit hard done by. Anderson, it's Tanisha to Quaife. Quaife's handball goes 5 centimetres to Wrigley. Bounces back towards Quaife's feet. The problem now, Kinley goes to help out, but Tanisha doesn't need it. That's Anderson. Coming off the bench, Grieve. What a change from Peel. It's going to go long to Bartlett. She loves this situation. Gelmy's wise to Kate Bartlett's play. They've been teammates for a long time, and she works a beautiful 1-2 with Maguire, who finds Osborne, who will look for a kick and nearly gets one in Michaela Hyde. Chloe Taylor below the knees to Jamie Henry. The youngsters combining. Bilsich again. She's done a power of work in the first quarter, and she'd be content to get a stoppage. Just short of the wing, still in Peel's forward half.
It's a clever interchange, wasn't it, just then from Peel, with Grieve running on to the loose ball. It's won here by Swan Districts, but just swatted straight back over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in just to the right-hand side of the interchange gates, and our position up here in the commentary box.
Nice the boundary umpire just looked to Quaife there for what was going on. Quaife said, "You can throw it in, mate." Throw it my side, he says. She said, and she did too. Chloe Taylor does shark the tap though. Little kick towards Edwards. Been a very important player in 2021. I think she's been the difference in a couple of games for Swans. Just to have that quality forward that does the right thing at the right time, and she does it here as well as the pack sits on her, and she gets a stoppage this time on the wing in Swans forward half. Haven't spent a lot of time in the forward half for Swans. Okay, right hand down. McKinley reads that well. Can't take the ball with her. This is Naira Anderson. No relation that we know of. Two highly skilled players, Tanisha and Naira. Tanisha, of course, with the Peel Football Club. Wrigley's last up off the ground there for Peel. Lacaille, sharked by Fenton. So Peel doing really well reading Lacaille's taps at the moment. Can they construct something here? They can through Fenton. Ella Roberts finds a path where there shouldn't have been one. Wrigley gets the ball down. Osborne leads towards the contest. Mel Hardy backs herself to take the catch on the way back. Kira Phillips wraps her up. Pinking her pocket there was Bella Mann. And this is leading in the race, Katie Jane Grieve. Another soccer player from memory. Skinny Osborne does not enough. Although Katie Jane Grieve in the end kicks the wrong side of the footy. And it spins over the line for a point. That gives Peel Thunder the lead. 2 points to 1. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter, and what's been an arm wrestle between the two 50s.
And that was probably the best opportunity there, wasn't it? Just several soccers, but unable to find the middle. So now Swans get the chance to work it out. 2 minutes 15 remain in this first quarter. It's been an arm wrestle so far in wet conditions, and this pocket they're in at the moment is quite boggy. Swans work it away now, coming towards the grandstand wing, the commentary wing. And a great smother there, fantastic smother from Anderson. She's been busy for Swans this first quarter.
Anderson smothering Anderson. Bunbury product to Nisha. Peel Football Club, both the players spent a lot of time with the State Academy. Nora, of course, an overager in this year's 19s program is very important. Leadership, this is Lacaille. Name often pronounced Lakey. And coach Adam Dancy calls her puddles. There'll be some out there today. If we get any more rain. Fenton and Anderson and East. And they have all got honorary membership to the Tough Ladies Club because they are 3 hard nuts.
And East just taking the opportunity to interchange there, and Cox has come on for Swans. Tap one down there through Lakay. Again, another just contested possession through here. It's just congested right underneath us at the moment, Clint. We're right on top of the interchange gates.
Actually look over the little shelter.
Yeah, right underneath us. So we'll have another throw in here. Very much what you'd call neutral territory. No one's advantage right now. 1 minute left in this first quarter. Another soccer through, seems a day for that. Grieve puts it on the boot to get it forward. Is there a chance here for Peel to get in a dangerous position? If anyone can do it, it will be Roberts. She's very talented, this young gun, and the foot race, she'll win it after soccering forward for herself. Can she settle and snap a ball? She finds a great hand pass here to Grieve, who settles through and puts it through the middle. We've got the first goal of the first quarter. It's gone to Peel Thunder. They are 1-2-8, leading the Swans, who are 1 behind.
Well, wonderful work. Picked up the ball clean. Great defensive corralling from Byron Osborne, but an equally good decision by, there's the sirens, equally good defence. There's a fair bit going on in the box next door. Equally good decision by Ella Roberts, just to weight that ball to the running Katie Jane Grieve, who's pretty happy with herself right there. It's been a good quarter from her. Well, it's 1 goal to the Peel Thunder, 8 to the Swan Districts Footy Club. Just the 1 point here on front row screens. You're with Clint Degebrot and Jen Wallace, and we'll be back to wrap up the first quarter and make some prediction at the second quarter with Jen Wallace after this short break.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
I suppose Grieve in that
Kia,
she's...
movement that inspires.
Rule 1. No internet searching.
New Optus Pause puts the Optus Living Network in your hands. It allows you to pause your Optus mobile and home Wi-Fi connections with one touch. Because sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
What can be broken but can't be held?
It starts with yes.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Welcome back to Steel Blue Oval. We're await to see who gets the week off. At the moment, early in this game, Peel in the box seat. Over at the other game, Jen, 2-3-15, the Tigers are above as we have a look at the goal kicker, Jen.
Rightly so, she's smiling. She's had a big first quarter there, Grieve. Kicked the one behind, and then right before quarter time, siren settled nicely off the back of some Ella Roberts' individual brilliance, and got the first major for the game and put Peel Thunder in front here at quarter time.
Steve Markham, you can see him there, very intense but focused. Just congratulating the girls on some of their efforts, I'd imagine. An entertaining first quarter despite the lack of scoring. Swans definitely trying to keep their normal game being played, and see some highlights here of Stribley. That's very early when the Swans seem to be off to a flyer. Good defence from Little and also Cassie Davison to repel those first couple of examples. Amy Ralph there, she was okay. But number 15, Bianca Webb, she was very busy for the Swans through the middle of the ground.
She was, yeah, and I think for Swans it was Webb, Anderson and Hyde, Michaela Hyde, that were very busy throughout that first quarter. Just unable to put any real scoreboard pressure on for the time that they had it. Probably did a lot more defending as well, as Peel sort of came through with the possessions in that back half of the first quarter.
And we just saw Bill Sitch flash across the screen, kicking the ball forward. She was very good too in that first quarter, very busy in the same area. You see Katie Jane Grieve getting the goal with not very long left in the game, in the quarter I should say, just to give Peel a little reward for their effort, because the ball was in their forward half for most of the quarter. Adam Dancy just going through his paces with his group. Both coaches have the whole team together, and it's split into their lines as yet. So obviously a big game, win it for the winner, a week off, preparation for the grand final. For the loser, they will play either Subiaco or Claremont next weekend. At the moment, during the third quarter, Claremont 2-3-15 lead, Subiaco 1-5-11. And they've kicked a lot of points this year, Subi, Jen, and sometimes they have most often they've played very good last quarters as well. How do you see that game?
Yeah, I think that one will be really interesting in the sense that you touched on Subiaco have always finished strongly. They're a very fit side. They've relied on that a lot though, and you do wonder how often you can keep going to that well and finding that extra bit of energy to come home in the fourth quarter. The behinds that they kicked a couple in the first quarter that probably they would look at and think they should have put through the middle and give them a buffer that would be really important right now. So interesting for them at the moment. Claremont, obviously, it's their home ground. They're leading. There's a lot to play with that game. It's elimination, so I think that's game set up for a really thrilling final quarter.
We're sort of watching that on the bottom of our screen as we have a look at Ella Roberts, a very important player for Peel, and Kira Phillips, who can kick 3 goals in many minutes. So she's a dangerous player that bears guarding, and her partner in crime down there has been Kate Bartlett, and they've been doing that together for a long time now. 2 young stars, Aisha Wright and Ella Roberts. Speaking of stars, Amara Cameron and Naira Anderson. You liked Anderson's work throughout the first quarter, particularly her defensive work.
Yeah, she just seemed to pick up players really well and was good at wrapping up the ball and slowing the game down so that it didn't get away from Swans. And I think that's something that in these conditions she's going to have a heavy influence in the way that she can do that continually. And then it was good a couple of times as well at just finding a releasing handball into someone running through outside. So I think she's a dangerous prospect that the Peel are going to have to keep an eye on.
About to start the second quarter. The umpire holds the ball aloft. Peel Thunder 1-2-8 lead Swan Districts. The solitary behind. Lakay convincing win in the ruck. Webb can't get the handle. Pressure immediately comes from Peel. They've been good at this so far today. It's quite obviously one of the points that Steve Markham had made, which is to corral the Swan Districts mids. Quaife this time. 2-handed tap. Chloe Taylor. Shark by Fenton, looks to give it to Duffy, just drops it in Duffy's space, usually clean below the knees. Duffy looks for a back feed, gives it back to Fenton, finds Grieve, building nicely for Peel already. This is Wrigley to Roberts, enough from Ralph to cause an issue. Roberts gets her kick away in the end, that's remarkable. And running down the line there is Jamie Henry. She's got Kira Phillips approaching her, and Phillips will show her no special treatment being a youngster. Tough player Phillips. Ball at half forward now for Peel, and a little throw being called from Chloe Taylor, taking the advantage as Peel. No advantage there. Oh, that's a wonderful step by Bianca Webb, and Swans look to relieve the instant early second quarter pressure.
So Swans continue to move it forward now, moving up towards their half forward flank currently, but Dowson it is again, who just manages to sweep around at the back and finds Wrigley out on the outer wing. She slows it down and just has a look what's in front of her. 30-metre kick forward to Wrigley. So it was Verrier to Wrigley, I should say. Wrigley wasn't able to be clean, and now it looks like it was going to be intercepted, but Peel has snatched it straight back this time. So the kick's gone forward again to Wright. It was 2-on-1, and the ball spilt over the back, but Swans, in their haste to get rid of it, just hand it straight back to Peel Thunder. It looks like it's going to roll over and we'll have a boundary throw in.
It was off for possession though, so Aisha Wright's handball missed, not touched. Boundary umpire wanted a lasso. Field umpire said no, it was off Aisha Wright's handball hand. Interesting passage of play. It's always a nightmare when you make a wrong call and then that player immediately kicks it to the player.
Yeah,
who's
the name to name.
I've done it so many times. Wrigley and Very are out there working on the far side. This is in the stoppage now, bouncing around. Duffy goes to a knee, knocked over by Webb in the end. Greaves out of the air, but only as far as Kane. There's a lot of dockers around this ball. Wrigley set upon. She will get carried forward in that tackle. Receive a free kick for a push in the back from a number of Swans players that drove her forward. Wrigley's kick, he's overcooked it, and Hardy's able to take a good chest mark in front of Sabrina Duffy. Alicia Hardy from East Perth Footy Club, no league side there, so she was lent out to the Swannies. Immediately found herself in the league side. She's playing in a prelim final now, but she's kicked it to Kira Phillips, who would have been best served, you'd think, to pick the thing up and kick a goal. She's gone off the ground and got it in. So Alicia Hardy, wants herself in a league team. Never thought she was going to be a league. Didn't think she'd have no idea she was going to be here today. She nearly coughed up a snag.
She did.
For the Swannies.
I think Phillips should have done a bit better with that, being clean and showed composure. She had the time. So again, this ball unable to work its way out of the defensive 50 for Swans. Again, tries time by hand. Find a bit more space, but there's a one-on-one contest there. It comes off the shins of Edgley to continue back into Swan's defensive area. Osborne now tries to get a head over the top of it. Ball's popped out the back now. Swan's in possession. Little hand pass to try and relieve the outside runner in Stribley. She gets well caught. Good tackle from Peel Thunder.
Wrigley and Barnden on Tara Stribley. Not a whole lot of Stribley that needs to be taken down by two Peel players, but they are hunting in packs at the moment, the Thunder. Likewise now East is carried forward. Wrigley called it a sling. Clearing out the players. Wrigley hasn't gone behind the mark at any stage. Should be called a play on. It's Ella Robertson short. She nearly did enough to mark that. Worked off the ball by Ralph. Allows East to pick it up. But it was a push in the back. And Ella Roberts will get the kick. She's too far out to score. But she's close enough to make this, or get this into a very dangerous area. Peel have isolated a whole heap of space in front of this ball for Bartlett. No Swans are dropping in it just yet. Bartlett makes her move. The kick's on that way. Hardy's able to, oh, she drops it in the end. She's able to get in the way. Fumbles the ball forward, right. Back feed to Duffy. Clean ball in. Henry is able to take the chest mark. She plays on and runs away from Phillips. She's going straight up the middle, looking for Edgley. The kick was okay, but Duffy chops it off. Going the wrong way. Anderson tried to lend a hand to Duffy on the way past, but the kick on the ground finds Cameron. Cameron pulls the ball into the path of Wellstra. She's chased by McKinley. Little toe poke there might have been okay from Wellstra. She works to pick this ball up cleanly. Works McKinley off the footy. In doing so too, she finds the grass as well. Now Peel are desperate. Chopped forward by Anderson. Bilsich puts her body on the line, protects the ball. Good footy. She gets done for a push in the back as well.
That's Cameron, I think, it's come in quite hard there, is it? Yeah, number 9 for Swans. Hopefully just winded and not something on the lower leg.
Bilsich just turned her hip at the right time to protect the drop of the ball, and hopefully that's just a little corky.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Mara Cameron, though.
There were some dangerous moments there for Swans. Ugle Hayward had actually come straight off the interchange and no one had picked her up and she was streaming forward. Swans just couldn't get clean possession to keep the ball moving towards her.
I think she did well to roll Bilsich there as well. No, can't call time on unless there's a stretcher. So this time is just ticking away. Something needs to happen because this is no time on in these games. So as soon as this player is cleared, we need to get this game going again. Swans have opted for no stretcher, which means the clock does not stop. We are watching just time burn away in a preliminary final at the moment. Let's get it going, boss. You can see beautiful protection of the body and just hopefully that's the hip, not the knee. Hopefully just a corky. Duffy takes a kick from Bilsich. Bilsich's been very busy.
Hasn't she?
Running hard off the footy too. Takes him on Duffy, gets away from Ugle. Kick towards right. Osborne's done her work early. Right's pace hasn't mattered. There's another whistle off the ball. This time Swans.
Duffy really remonstrated then with the umpire, so I don't know whether it's a call to do with that.
Must have demanded something, maybe a little bit of abuse. Duff does get a bit hotter on the collar at different stages. Jess Cox plays on in the middle of the ground. Looking for Edwards. Been good overhead this year, Edwards. Michaela Hyde fumbles. Oh, this brings her opponent into the game. She just spills the ball onto the ground for Edwards. Ball blocked. Leading in the chase, Wrigley. She rips Michaela Hyde down by the head. And the free kick will go to Michaela Hyde. Peel have worked hard to get numbers back. It's a pretty potent forward line here. Looking for Edgley. Welstra gets in front of Edgley and takes a good mark overhead. Wet footy under pressure from McKinley. Long ball in. Should favour Britton. Webb gets a hand in there. Edwards now. Hyde. Cox. Usually a good kick. Not on this occasion. It does skittle through. They've got the goalkeeper in, and it's Demi Little. So
Little's clearing kick heads out towards the back pocket there. Hoping for the line, but not found. So Swans again get the turnover and importantly get to chip it in. About 40 metres out here. That's Ugle with a chance for a shot on goal here to be the first major for Swans and start to eat into this deficit. She ignores the lead from Edwards. Connection's not quite there, so it's going to drop at the top of the square. Dangerous nonetheless. As Peel again have to try and get the numbers back and get this out of a dangerous possession, and they rush it over the line. So behind for Swan Districts, they go to 2.
Cassie Davison charges out. Players have spent some petrol tickets this quarter. Goes through the hands of Maguire, who's determined now not to let Very run away with it. Very off the back heel, taken by Maguire. Good build up again. Michaela Hyde steps inside the tackle. And we're back inside 50 for the Swans. Good field position by Bilsich. Lost her feet in the end. Hope Ugle Haywood might have had something to do with that. Tanisha Anderson rips it out, gives it to Edgley. And it was don't see what's quite on, but I know Edgley and Cassie Davis aren't happy with each other. Anderson might have got a little high tackle from Little. You see that on replay because I didn't quite pick it up in live.
There's plenty of feeling in this game. It's really intensified this second quarter.
Well, Swans are putting a bit of pressure on Peel. Handball to Maguire, who runs right and kicks right. They close the game off for themselves a bit there, Swannies. And they go to 3 points as they slowly climb towards Peel's lead. Again, it's Davison. Long ball in. Taylor can't quite complete the catch. Hyde lends a hand. She just stepped through the 2 tackles and she's back into the goal square, getting back, trying to help out Peel under a heap of pressure here. Welstra forward to Edwards. Shape isn't good for Swans around this ball at the moment. It's a bit of a circle, so... And holding the ball, Chippy Dowson made that decision. She dragged it in, She did exactly what her coach asked her to do, but the tackle from Barn, and Barn will get a chance to clear the forward 50.
Doesn't take it cleanly there on the wing, Dowson, but able enough to step back inside and get it forward to Phillips, who tries to take the big mark over the top of her own player. Bit of friendly fire there as Hayes cops the brunt of Phillips, trying to rise up on the back. She heads again down the line to a pack. It's out over the back for Swans, and Jelmy is taken high over the shoulder, and she'll earn the free for that. So now she has a look inboard, but doesn't see her options there. Now decides to pull the trigger there towards the square. Well marked.
Jamie Henry.
Henry immediately looks play on. Lovely kick just to try and switch it to the open side down the outside wing. Keeps moving on target is Wilstra this time for Swans. Comes back inside again for Wilstra, trying to use some footwork, and as she's caught. So great tackle there from Peel Thunder. And they're rewarded with the free kick, a chance to get back out from their half-back line.
Cassie Davison looks to connect ahead of the play, and she does. That's a nice mark under a fierce pressure. I call free kick in the end. She was dumped. I think it's a Bella Man on the far side. A lot less desk thumping in this game than in the Rogers Cup game. Very spirited coaches' boxes, lots of desk thumping. I think that coaches feel good when they can bash the desk. They don't get to do it at Rogers Cup level very much because they're usually on the fence. This is a good mark ahead of the play by Wrigley. Looks to be having a rest at half forward. She's been very busy today. Imagine getting the stats on her. Another big whistle, but it was just to move the ball on, and that's a nice overhead mark. It looks to be Amy Ralph at half back for the Swans. Impressive player, Amy Ralph. Super fast and energetic. Cox tries to take the checks mark, can't finish. Peel are all over the ball on the ground. Bella Man held without it. Gets it to Fenton. Fenton. Butler has to stop again. Naomi's got her measure at the moment, but she's a dangerous player. She tries to step through the Gelmy tackle, which not many people have been able to do across her 150-odd games of footy. She eventually wraps it to Bartlett's body, and they'll ball it up inside 50 for Peel.
It's one interesting thing when you look through the stats, obviously the WAFLW stats are the things that come up, and you know these players have played more than 20 games of footy.
Yeah, it's the old WAFL competition.
Need to sort of have a combined list somewhere for us tragics that like to look and find out. Free kick awarded here to Wrigley. As I said, she's been busy. Might be just outside of her distance, so you can see Phillips leading up. She ignores her, she doubles back around, so it goes to the top of the square. Almost a high mark overhead, but Swan's come away with it, and Kane, good fist there from Peel. Send it back again into a dangerous position. That one's going to be, I would think, in danger. Just as Henry.
It's accidental, but it's there.
Yeah. So
the old car accident.
So Henry has to use Maguire, her captain, with the hand pass there. Gets it. She's got such a strong boot on her, Maguire. She clears the area nicely, but Peel again able to get numbers there. Fenton, she's been busy in this first half. She finds Wrigley once again, who lands right in the big puddle. There's a turnover again, right on halfway, so Peel again get to throw it on the boot. It's tumbling towards an inside 50 here, and Duffy's going to clean it up. She's dangerous, puts it on the boot again, looking for Phillips. Phillips is well held, plenty of black and whites back there in defence, and Maguire again, just lovely skills as she connects with Hyde on the half-back line.
Chloe Taylor now to LeKay. She stands up tall and is paid the mark. Hasn't been any commentating from the box next door until right now. They're starting to call for free kicks to two groups. Umpires are well in control of this match. There's no doubt about that. Fenton to McKinley. The half-back again. They've had their measure. The damn wall is under pressure, though. Nora Anderson doesn't rip this in. Fenton, tackled by East. Welstra tries to go the other way. Grieve, clever. Fenton draws a crowd of three tacklers. She keeps her feet for as long as she can before the pack eventually falls down on top of her, and that's Webb and Kane. Two Fremantle Dockers teammates. Swamping on Gracie Fenton. Hayes in the ruck. Welstra set up okay behind the ball, Swannies. Kane works Duffy off the ball. Duffy's trying to find it now. Ahern puts pressure on Maguire. Anderson, Naira marks, Anderson, Tanisha marks in front of Anderson, Naira. Tanisha Anderson now with the footy at half back. Still pressure from the Swannies. Breehide flies, as does Maguire. Clever handball to Chloe Taylor from East, but she had no room to work. The pack's now actually laying on Chloe's back. And they'll pick themselves up. It's Jade Britton comes up with the footy.
Taylor again, been very busy. Welstra wins this one. Well read by East, who comes away with it. Anderson looking to release down the line, unable to find her target, and she's been held. So the free kick here to Anderson. We've got 2 minutes 45 on the clock. She barrels it towards the arc. And Peel able to bring it down at the front of that pack and try and move it forward. Duffy it is who crashes through. There's been a whistle though. Let's see which way it's going to go. It's going towards Peel. So Fenton, I think that is, and she's got Britton available out in the boundary side. She takes McKinley, but it might just go over the top of her head, and it does, so out in the full.
Gracie Fenton, it's not the worst result with the 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play, as the rain really falls down now. Chloe Taylor with the ball. A couple of kicks from goal with only 2 minutes to play. She's gone a barrel as well. Neither of the barrels have worked. Nor have they gone any further than the regulation drop punt. Handballed violin style by Edgley towards Stribley. Welstra comes and kicks it. Nearly Naira Anderson. She kicks it off the ground as well. Cassie Davison in the way. She takes Naira Anderson high in a tackle. Immediately apologises to her young friend. Of course, both of those players have worked together at the Wapunda Foundation. I'm not sure. Great mentoring when you take one of your mentees head clean off her shoulders. So Cassie Davis is pretty quick to both pull the arm and then help Naira to her feet. She's barking orders behind her. I said earlier, like her leadership this year. Naira Anderson usually a good shot on goal. This one is an accidental inside-out barrel. Goes to the line. Kick towards Breehide. Welsh through there too, trying to come through is Mann. Ugle, back feed to Osborne. East, handball to Taylor. Decent build-up in the wet. The left foot's going to go long, but Phillips is able to take the mark on the line. Sarah Lakay has to come back to the 9. We've got under a minute to play, and the ball is deep in Swan's forward 50, but in the hands of Peel's Chippy Dowson.
And Clint, every single player was inside the 50 other than 4 that were between the 50 and the centre square on the attacking side for Swans. This kick is out on the full for Dowson, so another opportunity here with 30 seconds left for the Swans. See if they can mount something quickly. As I said, all players inside this 50 are. Peel have thrown everyone back, so it's a chaos ball in to a pack. It's socketed forward. It looks like it's going to go through for a behind. So again, all behinds here for Swan Districts. No goals, 4 behinds, 4 to 139.
So the siren's about to sound on a second quarter. That's been an absolute wrestle. And as Jen said, it's 1 goal kicked in this match. Swans had all the possession in that half, apart from a couple of very good deadly movements forward by Peel. It's been fairly dour in that quarter as the rain began to fall. If you look across the ground from where we're sitting, the puddles are reforming, particularly as you kick to the Midland end. Over at the other game, it's 2 goals, 6 at full time, 18. Claremont have been eliminated. They kicked 2 goals, 3, 15. So Subiaco are the team that's waiting in next week's qualifying final. And they will play the winner. Sorry, they will play the loser of this game. Of course, the winner a game off. So, Subiaco Footy Club, a remarkable storming home towards the finals, remain a good smoky for the premiership in 2021. Here at Steel Blue Oval, it's intriguing. Swannies trying to play their game. Peel are playing a very good numbers and contested game here with front row screens. It's WAFLW action. Finals time. Qualifying final will be back shortly to wrap up the first half and have a chat about what the future holds for us in this game.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Rule 1. No internet searching.
New Optus Pause puts the Optus Living Network in your hands. It allows you to pause your Optus mobile and home Wi-Fi connections with one touch. Because sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
What can be broken but can't be held?
It starts with yes.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Usually we can show you all kinds of activity on the oval. It's raining during half time, and as this pan widens, we should be able to see a bloke that's played 200 odd games of AFL footy there. That's Matt Rosa. He's the Peel's footy manager, and he is heavily involved in the women's program at the Thunder Footy Club. Going to kick with his young son. Pan to the other side of the ground. You can see some dedicated people. They are wearing puffer jackets to have a kick. So nothing will stop these kids having a little bit of fun at half time. But there is a total absence of blue heelers and kelpies. So where is Skinny Osborne's dog?
Well, there was a sign on the way in. Strictly no dogs allowed.
Oh, okay, that must be
Big sign.
I didn't know that was a steel blue thing. At the Sharks, we usually get, as we see some highlights, Sharks over, we usually get the dogs running around. It's great. Yep. Bianca Webb very busy in the first quarter. Not as effective in the second. And just had a chat to the president of the Women's Footy Club, Jo Taylor, and she said, geez, Peel Thunder can hold the length of the game really well. They use Dowson and occasionally Phillips and Davison just to have that player back, and it's been really important for Peel today.
We saw that in the last couple of minutes, didn't you, where Swans were really trying to surge forward and just attempting all they could, but Peel rushed all of their players back. They flooded right back, and it was Phillips who played the goalkeeper role a couple of times. Usually we know we're up the other bookend, but this time, flooding right back. So good tactics there from Peel, from good awareness, I guess, knowing that it was red time in leading towards half-time and not letting a score through.
Dowson's accumulated a number of possessions behind the ball, but the person that's getting them up and going at the moment, I think, might be Chloe Wrigley.
Yeah, she's been really good for Peel. I think she hands on the ball a lot in that second quarter.
See that incident there with Amara Cameron, which is what we hope to be a cork in the upper thigh. Doesn't really in that quad. So we might not see her again.
Yeah, she kicked 2 goals last week, so important forward option as a target for Swans that they'll be lacking now unless she's able to come through with a bit of treatment and come back out and play a role in the second half. I think Fenton for Peel Thunder has been busy as well. Seems to be getting a hand on the ball a lot, combining well with Wrigley. They seem to connect well.
Cassie Davison, Bella Edgley upset her there with a little elbow to underneath of the rib cage. I think it was just a little bit of leave me alone, please, Cass. Cass is a very friendly player, but she'll give as good as she gets, that's for sure. As she leads the Peel Thunder backs. Of course, she's had a good leadership role with this team. Swans, of course, there's plenty left. They're trying to get their game going. You see a very good catch from Jamie Henry defensively. Sarah Wallstra's up and about. They need a little bit more from their lesser lights, I guess. They're sort of players on the flanks and the wings. We haven't seen Brianna Hyde, the kind of influence that she usually has. Chloe Taylor's had a crack. A couple of goals from Bella Edgley. And Edwards would be the go. So we just need, I think what we're seeing with Swans is they're trying to build their normal game. I think the pressure, you actually mentioned Grace Fenton, I wanted to say too, what she does is she holds the ball long enough that she actually gets 2 or 3 girls to tackle her. So she's giving an outnumber to Peel just by holding the footy. So I reckon Adam Dancy will be just going through his team and saying, just let's avoid the 2v1s. Let's get someone to tackle and someone to receive. Swans seem to be trying to generate their normal game, which is terrific. It's just a matter of hanging on to that, sort of making sure they can absorb that pressure and try to isolate the free, which they do so well. So I can't see them coming out continuing to want to wrestle Peel. I think they'll try to sort of run and stun on the outside. You can hear.
I think for Swans, the thing that's letting them down a little bit at the moment is just they're not a one-touch team in this condition. So a couple of times where they look like they're going to have time to collect and then move the ball forward again, there's been that little fumble which has allowed Peel to turn up in numbers. So I think one of the messaging through halftime would just be to just relax, back your skills, and only pay attention to that little moment instead of thinking too far ahead.
The skills don't go away in the wet.
Exactly.
Just have to rely on them more. With the help of Optus, let's take a look at AFL Premiership player Will Schofield's return to the Waffle. It's terrific that these players come back and give back to the State League competition. And of course, for him, when he was asked, it started with yes.
I started my career here in Western Australia. I played most of my first year at Peel. It was kind of a good transition between junior footy for me and then AFL. It was that middle ground where I sort of grew up a little bit, and it was why I was keen on coming back here. I really felt like that did have a lot to do with me developing not only as a footballer but as a man.
So Hawthorn have done it.
Probably took a long time to get over 2015. When you make a grand final, you think it's the best thing ever, and then when you lose it, you realise it actually could be the worst day of your life. 2015 was just a horrible day. It took almost 3 years to get back there. 2018 was life-defining for me. My best mate was killed in a bike accident. After round 1, went to the funeral in Victoria. Pretty much considered not coming back to AFL. I had my first child in June of that year, so that was a real wake-up call for me, and it was great. Fatherhood, changed me a lot. It was a huge roller coaster ride for me that year. Really feeling like my whole AFL life, it was all just gone, and I missed the opportunity. I was not going to get the opportunity to validate my work by playing in a premiership. I wanted that opportunity to, in my mind, validate my worth as a player, but as a person.
The Eagle has landed for the Premiers in 2018.
Having won, it certainly helped that, but I've definitely come to realise your value isn't what you are as a player, it's what you are as a person.
Yeah, well, really, when Scully decided to finish up playing at AFL level, I think he was lured naturally back to Peel, because this is where he played his football before he played AFL, and he felt the sense of the community down here, and he's got a young family. So from what I can understand, it was quite an easy decision for Will to come back to the club, and yeah, we're definitely thankful that we've got him.
Like sort of any player that comes out of the AFL, you're exposed to an elite level of everything really that comes with AFL. Training, diet, mentality, you name it, we've seen it at AFL level. So I guess some guys go into coaching, and not really for me. I don't really see myself as a coach, but I do like teaching, and I like leading young men.
I know he's really optimistic about the young talent that's coming through here at the club. So it's been great for him to run our emerging leaders program with our Colts and our senior emerging leaders. There's no doubt that he'll help those guys develop.
Do it fortnightly. We work through everything I've learned as an AFL footballer. So it's a little bit of a masterclass for them on leadership, but really it's about being a better man and leading better as a person, understanding yourself, and giving you a platform to succeed. If the guys go out and get drafted, I'd be proud, but it would be awesome to see. But if they come out and they've learned something and they're able to be a better person outside the footy club, well, I've probably played my role.
See Swan District's coach's son there. It's Adam Pickering having a kick with his lad. Adam Pickering, of course, coaching the Swan District's League Footy Club. Just saw Matt Rosa on the halftime package. He's down there having a chat with another Thunder player with his young son following him around. So usually this ground covered with punters at halftime having a kick, but it is a day to be inside. There's no doubt about that. If you're not actually playing footy, be half decent to be inside. The umpires are back on the field. They've done a good job today. The whistles have been quick. The explanations have been good. And they've got full control of this game. We've got hierarchy next to us in the umpires box. We've got the three of the four umpiring team at the Footy Commission. So we've got Greg in there, we've got Cam in there, we've got Dean himself, and they are all, well, they are side by side. They are not managing any social distancing in that tiny little room that they've been given. They are coaching a talented group of young umpires today. We're in the Tinderbox Stadium here. That thing roars at a Swans home game. A little bit cold and miserable there. A lot of puffer jackets. This is the full-length puffer jacket as we hone in on the old-style scoreboard. As you can see, 4 points, no goals for Swan Districts at half-time. Peel Thunder with a 1, which was a Katie Jane Grieve goal just before the break for quarter time. And I think those two lads there are starting to think, what am I doing out here? I'm wearing shorts. My sneakers are wet, and of course that was my takings from watching the full series of Game of Thrones. So what did you like about that? I said, I don't want to. That's just not something I want. It's not something I want because I hate having wet shoes. Anyway, there's more things to talk about than my fear of wet shoes as we go to a break, and after this we bring you back with all the second half action here of the prelim final at Steel Blue Oval.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Rule 1. No internet searching.
New Optus Pause puts the Optus Living Network in your hands. It allows you to pause your Optus mobile and home Wi-Fi connections with one touch. Because sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
What can be broken but can't be held?
It starts with yes.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Welcome back here at Steel Blue Oval in Bassendean in Perth, Western Australia, where turning on a very unusual day of football, rainy and cold. We were warned, stay inside, it's freezing and wet. It's only going to be 16 degrees and 3.2. And I thought of our friends and colleagues across Australia and even down the south of West Australia. Well, that would be a normal winter's day. We missed the frivolities that the Swans huddle provides when they have their dance-off, which has pretty much started to become a bit of a twerk-off. And it gets the girls laughing. So there's been a lot of smiles in this game as both teams have broken. Jen, keeping the players relaxed is a key focus for both Steve Markham and Adam Dancy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Swans, it's really good to see them come out and look to do something that they have been doing every single week. I like when you see come into finals, but teams stick to things that have worked for them. They've had a great season, so why would you change too many things?
Well, it's set for an intriguing last half. Quarter three about to start. The umpires throw the ball up for Lakay from Swans. And Quaife from Peel, and it's Quaife down to Fenton. She gets it to Duffy, and Duffy's put off the ball by Bianca Webb, holding the ball. Webb connects with East, one of the talented prospects coming up, potentially featuring the draft in a month's time. Chloe Taylor, another young player. Still well below draft age, Chloe Taylor. Swans have no fear, like Peel, in playing their youngsters. Taylor's kick's a good one. Doesn't quite favour Anderson. And Davison at the back is able to take the chest mark. Swans are in forward 50 for the first time. With good constructed ball forward.
She looked to go out to the outer wing. Now Davidson with that kick trying to find Veria. Swans pounce in numbers and are able to send it back inside 50 looking for Anderson. She turns around, but it is Peel able to clean it back up. Fenton, dangerous kick back across the square. Peel, kick forward the soccer, and it's just gone behind. So another scoring opportunity there for the Swans. It was a chaos opportunity, but just missing. And you sense they're coming, though, the Swans.
Starting to build. Dangerous kick from Fenton. She's not a long kick of the footy. Too many coaches would be happy with her on a switch rather than drive the line. And Chloe Taylor gets this in the lap. She plays on immediately. Low kick into Welstra. She can't do enough with it, but there's a whistle. Don't know what's happened. Someone's been tugged on the jumper behind the ball. Cassie Davison seems to know something about it. And it might be Sarah Welstra. Geez, delayed giving that back to her for a very, very long time as she took her instructions from the umpire. Sarah Welstra, from the resultant free kick off the ball, has a shot, and she kicks this with her shin through for a behind on the far side. A little bit disappointed. She's quite a solid shot for goal. It's a good foot strike and something she worked on very hard in the pre-season.
That's 12-8 for her now for the season. That opportunity just gone begging. And Peel just going up towards their half-back line, and it's tumbled over through everyone's legs. Chance here for Peel to keep surging forward. They do so looking for Roberts, but it skittles through her as well, and it's Phillips just putting body pressure on her Swans opponent. So Ball still trying to surge forward for Peel. No one really taking clean possession, and they'll all tumble over the top of it, and we'll get a ball up here back in the centre square. Just Peel's defensive side of the halfway line. Waif and Lakay go at it. No one really wins this one, and it just drops down to the ground. I think we'll have a repeat.
Okay, hands and knees. She's in the ruck again. Quaif. Bianca nearly sharked it. She must be looking at the ruckman's hand. Bree Hyde already having a bigger impact in this quarter. Noted that her ball use and smart's very important, particularly in these big games, particularly in the wet. It's about to say it's cleared up. The rain is now falling heavily again. I think we had an almost clear half-time break. Chloe Taylor again for her third possession and her second inside 50 in this quarter already. Davison, it's a good spoil from behind from Dowson. She's on the ground behind the footy. Kane fumbles it. Maguire's bought her a moment. This is going to go to Webb, who gets the mark on the chest. She drops it in the end. Fenton arrives. She sits over the football. I think it's Dowson still down behind play. Probably see that on our cameras as we look to get this. It's a tough cookie. Just got a little knee in the back, perhaps. She was the spoiler in that occasion. So it's hard to know how she got the knee in the back, but she's up. She's actually covering a player already as she rests. Naira Anderson from Lakay. Can't find the handle. Does now. East. Usually good shot for goal. Well, today it's tougher to get good purchase on the footy. And Swans have their 7th point through Dana East.
So, yeah, building slowly, Swans. They'll be desperate to kick it through for a major, but so far just taking the looking to soccer through again now. I've seen a lot of that today. Lots of players not getting below their knees with their hands, just going to keep surging it forward off the boot. It's going to be in the right pocket here for Swans. Looking to get it through to the top of the goal square. Peel coming up in numbers now. Again, another soccer. Duffy dangerous, unable to pick it up cleanly. And it's East again with the right boot. And looks like that one has missed everything. So, yeah, I was touched off the boot as well, obviously.
It'll have to be a back feed and snap. They're all this ball's knocked forward. Let's try the snap. Doesn't go too far. Peel's better. Roberts. Gets on the deck as well. Good tackle. Taylor. East. Wrigley. And the build-up.
It's really coming down, Clint. You can hear that on the tin roof. Not near our effects mic. It's getting dark.
It's very dark. Interesting to see if the lights.
See if it gets the week off and goes straight. Loser will Subiaco next week. Beat Claremont in today's elimination final. Hayes. Fine. Just taking her time now. Kick against the as well.
No real wind is
a solid wall of rain to deal with. Slippery conditions. You just see the ball just between the two. No one really getting it clean possession and able to come through. Umpires letting this one.
Agreement that they want to ball up and they'll just go still.
Yep.
Blow the whistle, please, boss.
And just wait.
I think Bilsich wanted that just then after that couple of different efforts. Side of the ground now, it's Bilsich tracking the football. Under fierce pressure, but her kick's okay. Oz hands attack now forward through the Swannies towards Anderson, who works her opponent, which was Anderson. Ricochets between Ugle. Clamped without it was Welstra. She's putting pressure on the forwards. She's putting pressure on as a forward for the defence. She places on quickly. There are some numbers here for Swannies. Getting fair was Maguire. She got a little tug on the shoulder. His mind was there. That ball in. And Michaela Hull has just shined one goal to Maguire so she can get a bit of orientated. Hyde. Just made sure the ball was nice and dry for the captain, one of their best mates. And Maguire worked forward here. Approach. It's a ball. You can tell by her body language and her teammates' body language that she's missed it, but it's all tight. Is it all tied up? No, still 1 point to Peel as they try to bring the ball in again through Barndon. Oh, that's actually Davison.
Here comes, finds McKinley. You see Duffy running through the puddle just beside her. She'll bring this, continue up the line. Roberts settling underneath it. Unable to take it. Fenton crumbs it at the back. Peel throw it forward on the boot. An excellent get back here from. He's hammering down now. There's an opportunity to keep the ball switching to that far side from Kane. A bit more up the court than that. Goes to Webb, who looks like with Bilchich she's given away the free, so Bilchich will be for Peel. Come back up the corridor for Peel.
Famous, of course, Stephen, Ebony Bilchich, plying her trade in the same competition. And her dad did. Kate Bartlett tries to go through, stripped of the football, falls to Kane. And she's been done for a sling behind the ball. Coach is getting agitated in the box. There's a couple of dads in each of the rooms too. We've got, of course, stepped out of Henry, Dean Mark, Caitlin Hayes, Jeff Hayes. The ball falls with Asha Wright. It's a lax defence after some really good footy from Swan, and Asha Wright chance to score. Now she's a decent kick of the football and she's within range. Go with Asha Wright, finding her kick, looks to have slid off the outside of the boot. In either box, making sure that and Clint Eggrock, front row screen,
a little bit of defence sort of sloppiness, able to bring it out, and once again they're going to be under pressure here as Peel again with the intercept through Veria. She looks to pop this into towards the post here, right hand post. It's deep in the pocket, staying in, but players keeping it in at the moment. A good tackle laid here. You'll see the ball up once again. So again, dangerous positions for Peel, and the rain just starting to ease off. There is some blue sky around us as well, Clint. Hopefully that continues on so the lighting gets a bit better here for the players and us. The ball up, tumbles out the back, but there's to be Bartlett dangerous on the free general play there, unable to clean it up under her knees, and Kane for showing some good to give everyone a chance to breathe.
Going Peel play, not too much advantage. It looks to be Davison, who's worked herself all the way up from fullback. Tries to chop this off. Britton finds the space behind. Coming up to meet her is Cox. A couple of professional fumbles from some fierce body work in there from Britton and Jess Cox. That's Ugle on screen. He's worked hard to get connected around the ground this afternoon. Jade Britton opposing her. Defensive hit from Britton. It's a good attacking position. Tackled really well. She lost the handle and then was tackled to the ground there. Peel box started to worry about the moment. Just a little rattle in there. Don't seem to be rattled at all though. Henry finds it. Swan District's on the far side trying to construct to Edgley, who's able to take a mark. Kane spreading forward. It goes Kane's way. Well, little Bilchich. And Bilchich's ball is Henry for allowed the traffic to go past. It's Ralph. Pumps. Edgley flies against Hyde. Bianca Webb now is tackled nicely down to the ground by Ebony Bilchich. The ball up in the puddle directly under us.
Good passage of play from both teams then. You can see just how important this is. Only 2 points in it in this third quarter. It's one down again to Swans, but well read by Fenton. Unable to pick it up cleanly and come through with anything. So all just tucking through to play, and she gets it forward. Foot race here for Wellstra. Again, opts for the soccer. They both spread into each other and it'll go across the boundary line. 50 and the ones.
Clever from Wellstra, just trying to get that ball forward. But Little, very athletic player. Wellstra and Little. Just
spent a lot of time forward, hasn't he, with today?
Absorbing the pressure from Quaife, because Quaife really does jump into her opponent. East through to Stribley. Stribley usually clever and got this one under fierce pressure. I think Bella Edgley in there. Just and the Swannies. It's 9 points to 10. Well, 4 points. Little to bring the ball back. Really well. Underneath the ball was Hyde. Bilsich off the ground. Yu leads the race. Turns inside. That's Hardy, my apologies. Cox. Low ball. Edwards does enough to stop it. Davison putting pressure on her. Osborne chops forward.
Defence. Thunder. They work it out to stay out on the outside wing. And that'll be a kick in. Lasso rule. No one having touched that. She just went for a bit too much space. Mark it clean. Wilson it is, who's good below her knees and snaps it around the body into the forward pocket. We're in the right forward at the moment. Looking to scramble in defence. Great tackle from Est, although looks like no, it is a ball up. So excellent tackle there from East, applying forward pressure.
A lot of entertainment up here looking at these. We get a clear look into both the boxes. And Peel quite an agitated at the moment. Swannies were hoping for a holding the ball free kick on the boundary line, but there was heads in hands as Ella Robert tries to work out the back. She tries to go through. What will the umpire say? She was held. Advantage part. Duffy. Gelman. Just tries to hold this ball up. Eventually, balls forward. Right to Phillips, who can't find the handle. Running past her is Ralph. But although two players, Webb and Stribley, getting back, Webb peels off to guard the line, does that very well. Was knocked over behind the play. It was Bartlett, all fair. She's slow to get up and she's holding a leg. Meanwhile, Ugle tries a bounce. Unwise, I'd suggest, with Katie Jane. Grieve around. She kicks the ball back into forward 50. Aisha Wright can find Duffy. Duffy goes the wrong way but pulls over her shoulder. Phillips is coming at the ball. Ralph is brave and holds her position and takes a very, very good chest marking defence for Swans.
And Bartlett only just getting herself to her feet there for Peel in the full forward position. So we'll have to watch that because she's their dangerous target up forward. Swans now with the chance just off the halfway line. They're out and their edge. Outer wing, just trying to slow it down a little bit. They didn't have any targets forward, so they go towards the pack here. LeKay's the tall they've opted to get towards. She brings it down to her feet, but it is Peel who, again with the numbers back, are able to work their way through. And a free kick here. As the coaches again show emotion. As you mentioned, Clint, we've got...
It's going to be 50.
Yep.
Hopefully the players aren't turning on the upset there because...
Got some emotion, don't we, now?
They've been very consistent with that two-action tackle.
So, given her a decent 50 and brought her in the corridor as well. She leads forward to Phillips, who crashes the back of that, unable to bring it down. Swans with the chance to come through. They miss the handball to Welstra, so the pressure remains. And it is Swans with the numbers in defence. Some head-high contact over the shoulder.
Very clever from Hyde. She looked to play in case the free kick wasn't there and then immediately propped when she got the whistle. The very definition of playing the whistle. Centre's unguarded and it's an ambitious kick, bitten off beautifully by Webb, and it's with Anderson. Drying up a little. The deck will still be soft. Anderson gives up the corridor wide to Edgley. Dowson approaches her. Edgley does the right thing, gets it on the boot. Competing against Edwards there was Taylor. Swans are making it hard for themselves at the moment. Anderson tries to spin through. Handballs forward. Welsh doesn't take the ball. Davison does for Peel. She kicks this towards Phillips. Working to the front, Osborne. Phillips has the strength. Osborne off the ball by Webb. In the order, Jen Wallace.
So Kane getting involved now for Swan. She's just come straight off. Kicks long, looking to 20 seconds. Peel still smothered there. Chance to get in for time. Ball tumbling forward, 10 seconds out. Cleanly, there's a good tackle here in defence from Peel.
Going to kick up the ball. It was a very brave call. One possessed the ball, and she was brought to ground. An easy one to. Umpires rightly call this one held without, and this changes the game, Jen.
Doesn't it? So 0-9 so far for Swans. And Strubley with the chance to kick their first major of the day and also take the lead leading into three-quarter time. Control. Just kick long and it's faded across the face of goal. So yet another behind. The streak continues for the Swans. They are 0-10-10, play 1-4-10, and incredibly, we are all here at three-quarter time. Clint.
Yes, disappointing finish, but probably one that sets up the game beautifully. We have it all tied up at three-quarter time, front row screens. We have a beauty in the prelim final of the last quarter to look forward to, and we'll bring that all to you just after we have a quick drink and take a break.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Rule 1. No internet searching.
New Optus Pause puts the Optus Living Network in your hands. It allows you to pause your Optus mobile and home Wi-Fi connections with one touch. Because sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
What can be broken but can't be held?
It starts with yes.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
On screen, the boss of the WAFLW, Luke Sanders. And that is a great example of fine weather except expected, because he has been in the Swans members with the heater on and a granny blanket on his knees. And now that the sun has come out, he has deigned himself to walk onto the ground. You can see Cam there too, doing his work with the umps. Dean Margette's getting a bit sick of getting rubbished, so he sent one of his underlings out there to take the brunt, but we'll still mention Dean. And he's having a bit of a giggle there. Luke Sanders is saying, "Where's Dean?" He said he sent me out here as we ended the Swans huddle. Swans broke up as normal into their lines. Now Dancy pleading with the players. And one of the things he might be saying, Jen, is 10 shots to 5. And that's something that they can capitalise on.
Absolutely. Obviously, you'd be disappointed that you're 10 shots and you haven't scored yet, but day, they've got to turn that focus into, guys, we've had 10 to their 5, so this is a positive. How do we make it turn into a positive? Keeping in mind that both of these teams get the chance next week should they be the loser. So really, they actually all need to just take a handbrake off for the fourth quarter and go after winning this game as opposed to not trying to lose it.
And we leapt into the Peel huddle here, and Peel, Steve Markham had the whole group in from the start. They had a very brief chat to get some feedback from the line coaches, and he grabbed them again. So he'd be happy with the defensive pressure against this quality Swans unit. They have got some real injuries over there to some key players. They are being brave and strong here. If we'll get the broken a little, or at least to be broken open a little, to try and win this one, as you said, rather than sort of save it. So Peel kick a snagger here, and Swans hearts can break after their efforts to not get one. Can't quite read his lips there, but he's certainly giving them some passionate chat. How do they win it from here, Peel? Jen?
Well, I think for Peel, they've had huge amount of defensive work they've put in. They've really shut down the Swans multiple times, even though the Swans have had 10 attempts on goal. The Peel have kept rebounding, but what they've found is because they've had to come so high up that when they have gotten a chance for a foot race, the foot race is still to collect the ball and they're not even in the inside 50 yet. So they've actually got to lengthen out and try and get that foot race happening. The likes of Bartlett and Phillips, who are so good in general play, can have some reward for them.
Empires have shown if you put your head and shoulders over the footy, you will get looked after. And if you are collected late, you will get looked after too. Otherwise, play the ball as hard as you can. I think what people are trying to do is right, Jen, and it allows Osborne and Maguire to drop. Of course, Maguire played forward in that part. It was Gelmy that dropped off and held the length of the game, and Bianca Webb and the other wingers were able to come and get that support.
And while we were just having nice words with each other there, actually following the Swan crew has got Cork as we had hoped for her, but she out for the rest of the game. Obviously, we didn't see her in the subsequent quarters, so she won't have any further impact in this match either.
I reckon from where she got hit, that whole leg hurt all week.
Right
at the top of the hip joint, just probably jarred that whole leg and pelvis. Very soft at the top.
So first goal is so important right now, isn't it? It's going to give that team just that momentum and belief.
Or first point in this case.
First point. And put it through. Just be how the game.
Who's going to set us away? It's Kane Clay to Nora Anderson and Sabrina Duffy. No one in the ruck decisively. Bilsich off the ground, but Kane holding the defensive wing position will be first to arrive. She balances it on one hand, if you don't mind, with a bit of mud on the footy. Goes back towards the bullseye. Coming at the ball was Michaela Hyde, very good. Her sister boxed out too in front, kept that ball in Bree. This kick's okay. Goes over the back to Anderson, who's worked forward. Might have been Hope Ugle in the midfield there rather than Anderson, doing some work there. Bianca Webb come off her wing. She tries to get Caitlin Hayes. Caitlin Hayes tries to call the umpire rather than the footy on this occasion. Bouncing the ball a little. Little's focus is the ball. She's able to pick this up and clear. Maybe only as far as Kane. Grieve for company. She handles the wet ball again very well. The 1-2 with Lakay. Lakay didn't provide the block. I think that's what Kane was after, but she finds Webb on the chest. It's a long way out. Webb's a good kick of the footy today with a very heavy ball. On the far side is East calling for it. She's going to get it now. It's not going to carry to her. She's going to get a running shot instead. This might suit her very well. She finds the middle of the ground. She goes long, not long enough. On the line is Michaela Hyde, and she gets a finger on it. Demi Little. Swans are in front for the first time today, and it's via one of those things that they've got 11 off. It's a behind.
Well, desperate defence again from Peel, wasn't it, in that instance? I thought she was going to get that through from the soccer when it crumbed down. A desperate touch on the line. Shows it means a lot to both these teams, Peel especially. As Grieve gang tackle, but manages to get the hand pass away and keep it moving forward up the outer wing. Steph Kane for Swans, it was really good in that last passage of play as well. Linking up with the follow-up handball. Being able to get it inside 50. Some tired bodies starting to now peel themselves off a bit slower up off of the ground, Clint.
That's right. Bilsich did some good work to protect the ball there from Kane's run. We're in the centre of the ground. Peel trying to go forward. Hardy, Roberts, Hardy, Ralph. Ralph out towards Ugle. Coming at her is Anderson. Barnden leaves her player to put pressure on. Takes her on the front on Clumsy. Got to do better than that. Look after each other. That's Ugle. Ambitious kick. Anderson just has to do very little here. And she doesn't touch this ball. Which means it'll be a free kick to Peel. Good work by Anderson.
Yeah, good awareness there on the line. Chip kick forward finds Wrigley. Again, Duffy's available for another chip over the top, but doesn't get the distance, so it's going to be a chance for a turnover for Swans. Berrier does well to clean up and finds Grieve, who puts it forward with the torpy. Gets some good distance, unable to be marked by Roberts, so Ralph will get the chance to work her way across half-back for the Swans. She just takes the grass on offer, and Bilchich should win the foot race if the ball sits up nicely for her, but she puts the hand pass behind her skipper and Davidson, and it's play on the call. So another tumbling ball forward. Dowson for Peel trying to clean this up. The Swans it was that got the benefit of the play on.
A little lazy approach. This clips Ebony Dowson on the chin. She tries to release Davison on the far side. Composed today, Davison. Her kick's a good one. Should find Verrier. Naira Anderson will just infringe with a bit of front-on contact. No eye on the footy on this occasion. Bit of a professional free. Britton's run forward on the wing. She takes a nice overhead against Hardy. Her kick's a little high for Roberts. Got to get a jump at this. And Amy Ralph just gets in on her back hip, although recovery from Roberts is good until she left the ball behind. Ralph works her off the footy. Ends up back towards Britton again, knocking over the line. Was Ella Roberts east and the ball.
So Roberts dangerous again, just unable to pick it up cleanly and keep coming forward. Waiting for the rucks to arrive to compete here. So Welstra and Hayes it was in the end that let the ball bounce through. No one able to effect an effective tap. Just cross half-back, right half-back over there at the moment for Swans. We'll have another ball in. Throw in here on the far side, just in front of the Mandarin Estate. See Duffy and Wrigley on screen there for Peel and Hayes, and Welstra will go up again now. Comes out the back of both of them. Towed forward again by Swans. Again, another soccer for Peel. Gets them inside 50. It's a tumbling ball in. Players trying to find a clean possession. I think that's Taylor that's able to get that up through the middle of the ground. And Verrier for Peel will get the chance to bring it back in.
Verrier looking to build towards Duffy. Duffy receives and plays on wide. This kick will stay pretty shallow. Gives a good look at the Swans defenders. Although Bartlett just takes the catch and plays on quickly. The kick, though, unfortunately, has hit Henry in the hands, or maybe fortunately for the Swans. Interesting passage of play. Well played Bartlett. Really looked to break the game open. The kick just didn't quite carry. We've got a boundary throw in. Alone in the goal square. Was it Phillips or Britton or both? And Henry, desperate hand in there, saved what could have been a match-winning margin.
And it proved to be in the perfect spot, didn't she, as that got drilled straight at her?
It's just Bartlett might have been looking for a low goal. Throw-ins a little shallow again. Lakay works it towards Wrigley. Wrigley overrun. Duffy, work early done nicely by Hyde, or is it East? It is East. Ella Roberts pulls the ball back towards the top of 50, towards the top of the square. It's in the hands of Ugle. Ugle, there's only a play back here. Only one in picture at the moment is Dowson. Pressure comes. It's dribbling on Fenton. Fenton's strong enough to get a kick away, but it's with Webb. There's a little space behind the ball. The Webb finds some grass. It gives Welstra a run. Demi a little peels off. She trusts that Barnden will do the defensive work. Steps inside Barnden. You can see the water on the surface out there. The kick is affected by the wet ball. It's at the top of 50 now, though. A couple of Peel players miss it. They were able to construct through Fenton. Now, Fenton kicks it straight to Hyde. So Hyde can really build now. Kane ahead of the ball. Has got some free space. Peeling off Edwards. She's got some space. The kick just has to be okay. It could skid on for a goal. McKinley's got back. And she works it over the line. Great defensive play. Not prepared to give a point away, which is pretty clever in this situation, Jen.
Been really desperate in their defence, haven't they, Peel? A couple of times in that last bit we saw them peel off and allow another defender to come up and affect the first threat of the ball carrier and make sure they had someone deeper back. And again, McKinley just sprinting to make sure that she could effect some pressure there. Wilster up in the ruck, wins it down, but Fenton able to find the hand pass out, and the kick brings it out towards this half-back line for Peel. Cox swoops on it for the Swans and sends it in. It's a dangerous kick in towards Maguire. She's unable to hold it, and the ball's just being ping-ponged around again. Taylor comes through, takes a strong grab, but plays on. Might have been touched as well. So again, the ball just being battered around by both teams.
Peel are flirting with disaster by bringing the ball consistently back into the corridor, but Lakey's fumble in the end was a throw, I think. Cass Davison can just take a bit of sting out of the game and a bit of speed off this footy. And defend wide, looking for Ahern in front of her. Edgley takes a good mark overhead. The ball's not wet. Gives Ahern a shove. You're concerned with Naira Anderson slipping out wide, but that's not where Swans want it particularly. The ball carries through a couple of sets of hands. On the last line there, Barndon. Strong over the football. You can see the water on the surface. Doesn't look to be a puddle from here, but it is very, very boggy. Chloe Taylor underneath this pack. Wrestling with her is Wrigley and Hayes. Desperate play from Peel here. Welstra against Hayes. Welstra into the corridor. Davison and McKinley try to work it out. Wrestling each other there. Webb. Hyde tries to pick her off. Goes under the tackle. Under the Taylor tackle was Fenton. Have another ball up in a very dangerous spot.
And Peel doing a lot of defensive work. Swans are surging forward. It's tapped down at the back and running through for Peel, but well tackled by two of the Swans players, Webb being one of them. So he peels herself up from here. Looks like the skipper, Davidson. She's really trying to drive Peel out of this defensive area. Wins it again with the tap down. Again, well read by Fenton. Player slung around off the ball. Should get a free, and it is.
It's a tough call from the umpire. That's actually the third umpire that called that in the centre square. He's actually literally in the centre circle, and the other umpires realised that Duffy had sweated and fallen over into the tackler to make it look like that. It's in that call, I think the distant umpire didn't help get the right call in the situation. Meanwhile, Hyde's working on the wing with Osborne, tackling Veria. Bella Mann stands over her, and Wrigley, who's been in everything. Webb 2, number 15 for Swans. Her and Wrigley have been very busy prime movers, both teams, their teams respectively. Ball up, Lakay unopposed, gets it towards the line, trying to find some space for Anderson, who runs in and takes ahead. No whistle. Wrigley fights away, gets the kick away eventually. This should run along the boundary line. Actually, if it stays in, it's all boxes and hammers here for Hayes. Tapping the ball through. Hardy dives on this, must release it now. Hayes jumps on her, and she's going to get a free kick here. Peel starting to build against the flow of play. Hardy defensively sensible. It's Mann, sorry, not Hayes. It's Bella Mann with that tackle. She jumped on her when she knew she'd reel it in. This kick's okay. Cox has got back. Drops the mark in front of herself. She's got a problem now because Wright and Roberts, and they both overrun it in the end. Cox tries to work herself into the ground, trying to get a free kick. Umpire wise to that. The Wrigley tackle was good.
So Peel just inching their way out of their dangerous territory, and now have found themselves inside their scoring arc. Can they find a way onto the scoreboard here? 1 point to Swans at the moment. Benton to Roberts, who fumbles, and just to recover and gets it forward on the right. It's tumbling forward. It's dangerous possession here. It's one-on-one while all the players arrive now. Two Swans in. Here we go. It's a free kick to Peel Thunder, and it is Bartlett, the leading goal kicker for the season so far. Just had a couple of opportunities from general play today, Clint. And with 6 minutes 20 on the clock, will she settle and kick this? Bartlett it is. She's looking good. She likes the look of it. That puts the Peel back in front. 2-4 for them now. Really important kick for Bartlett. And you can see Peel getting around it. They know how important that moment just is in this game.
See it on the replay there. Her shot for goal. Just prior to that, threw the head back on the ground. Was rewarded with a high tackle. 3 or 4 players laying on the ground. Very easy to get some incidental contact on the chin. Resultant goal was a beauty. Now she's done what several Swans players couldn't do, which is convert from close range. Throws that really the gauntlet down to the Swan Districts Footy Club now. They have to score a goal within the next 6 minutes to potentially have the week off. Peel in the box seat, particularly the way this game's gone. 2 goals to Peel, to 4. Still being outshot by the Swannies at 11 points only. LeCay, give that one to Quaife, gets it to her half of the circle. Duffy, clever out of the clever surge from the stoppage. Mark's taken here by Ralph. She's looking for Maguire. Grieve overruns it, gives it back to Anderson. Edwards tackles her. Was either holding the ball or without it. No call. Call it a draw. Nisha's ripped off the footy again for a second time. She's picking it up and dropping it, and Hope Ugle is driven forward in the tackle, and she was clever to roll herself there, Jen, because that was looking ugly for a moment.
Yeah, got herself out of an ugly position really quite gracefully, in fact. Ugle. Bulchich trying to push her way through the tap. It's Cox who's one possession back to LeCay. Stribley here with the little kick, and she's just patting it forward for herself. Bit not too much pace. She's left it behind. Hits it forward for East, but Peel again able to find possession, and it is Verrier who is great smother. Stribley just staying in the game. As the sun starts to shine on the ground, you can sense the intensity here. We've got five points in it, so less than a kick in it. Keeping in mind Swans have kicked 11 straight behinds. So tumble this forward, trying to have another inside 50. Stribley again involved. I think we'll have another ball up here.
Bit fumbly, Stribs, and then in the end fell to her on the ground again. Her on her feet is a good, attractive prospect for Swans scoring opportunities. So if she gets a run of this, she's going back to that defensive wing position. East from the LeCay tap, can't take it again. Diving in Roberts, putting herself in harm's way. There's 2 tacklers wrapping up East, but she's had no opportunity to get rid of that. East usually very clean. He's a Manjimup kid, so would have played in the rain. Played under Peter Worsfold before coming up to Swans at Donnybrook. East onto Quaife. East burrows in there too. So the old adage in the tackling, eyes to thighs and dig in. The girls are certainly doing that today. Keeping each other safe, it's a good way to do so too. Get nice and close. LeCay and Quaife face off. I don't always see this in footy. You can go shoulder to shoulder and the ball ups around the ground. Bilsich throws herself to the deck. Ralph's kick just trying to attempt to open up play. She's shoved off the ball by Britton with Stribley, though she keeps her feet this time and drives her legs. Little's overrun it, but it's on the ground again. The pack will converge once more. Now will the umpire call this ball up?
So Brianna Hyde's come racing to the interchange, and she's swapped with her sister. So Michaela Hyde's now entering the field of play with less than 2.5 minutes. The clock is starting to put a lot of pressure on the players as well. Good tap there from Quaife. Again, neither team able to actually earn some ground. It's Peel who managed to find their way through, and Davidson off the back just snaps it around. She's stayed down here in the back play, but she's sent her players away on the outer wing. There is time and space. Looks back inside to see Duffy, and she takes a strong mark and looks to continue playing on even with the players hanging on to her. No, it tumbles inside 50 now, and good numbers back from Swans, and they negotiate their way through that very nicely.
Kane drops the mark. It brings Anderson in. Wrigley off the bench. Forward from Michaela Hyde. Good to Edwards. Edwards kicks the ball, chopped off by Davison, who was cramping up behind play a moment ago, and she's going to cramp again here. And I reckon the coach will be happy she cramped for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Umpires will be wise to that. Definitely a cramp from working. And there's no pretend. It's just a good opportunity. She's called to play on. Looking for Bilsich. Flying in front of her was Edwards, and we'll get a ball in. Or boundary throw in, I should say. 1 minute, 24 seconds. There's a chance for either side to score. But you're happier in the Peel box at the moment than if you're in the Swans box. 11 individual points for the total of 11 for Swan Districts. Peel Thunder 2-4-16. 1 minute, 11 seconds to see who gets the week off. Both sides will be stronger as players come back in. The Peel in particular missing some very good players. Duffy's got this ball forward to Osborne. She's got to negotiate Aisha Wright. She slips her quite easily in the end. Bella Mann sits under this footy, very brave. Welstra's got 2 runners. One is Stribley. She goes back inside to the heat, though. McKinley behind the ball. Maguire fronts her. Kane's backfield. So the Swans will spread now. 43 seconds to go. We're inside 50 for Swans. Coming at the ball's Verio. She can't complete the catch. Bit of pressure from her own teammate on this occasion. Ball to Roberts. She's clean. And she's going to drive the ball forward. Only as far as her opponent in Ralph. Ralph's quick kick into Welstra. Flies, can't hold. There's players down behind the play. There's exhausted players across the ground. It's in the hands of Roberts with 20 seconds to go. She kicks it over her head. Interesting. Ralph approaches the ball. Bella Mann stands her ground. Duffy handballs to herself. Tries to kick it off the deck. 12 seconds. It looks like Peel Thunder have got a week off. Osborne can't get rid of it. We've got a ball up. And Peel Thunder are in the grand final on their home deck. They've won the right to host the final. And they are there. They've got a week off to freshen up. The Swans will be disappointed and hungry and perhaps a little angry, and they'll face a freight train in Subiaco next week to see who gets to travel to Peel, who are in the grand final, Jen.
Remarkable game, a low scorer but thoroughly entertaining. Peel Thunder, what confidence they're going to take from this win based on just gut running and so much work rate around the ball. They just kept turning up in numbers. They kept repelling the surge of Swans, and to keep Swan Districts scoreless from kicking goals. You know, 11 behind straight. That's an incredible achievement for Peel to keep Swans to that. And as you mentioned, that means Swans will have to play for the chance to get through to the grand final against Subiaco, who are, as you said, been quite the hot team towards the end of the season. But Peel, a phenomenal victory, just turning up when they can. Only 2 goal scorers for today. Grieve in the first quarter, and then Bartlett in that final quarter, an important set shot that she took after probably a couple of chances that she could have put through in general play. She made up for it when it counted.
There was a lot of pressure on her throughout the day, but she was able to get the goal from a set shot, which she's done throughout her time playing. We call her career a career, of course, because she was a Bulldogs listed and Eagles listed as well. Now playing a trade at the top level in the state. Kate Bartlett, in the end, a little clip on the chin, decided the game. The Swannies didn't do themselves any favours with their set shots across the game too. Felt that pressure. And I know points can be contagious. If you start to kick points, you don't get your reward, then you start to think about points. Sometimes it means you can keep kicking them. Though in most games, you can't keep scoring goals. You know, when you got that goal, if it's 8-0, eventually you're going to kick a point.
Yeah.
You would think that at some stage the dam would have burst with the Swans' pressure. So Swans with the scoring shots and Peel with the win.
Well, you think back to that moment when the ball tumbled over the back and there was a touch on the goal line for Peel.
Which I think was Demi Little.
Yeah, just
off the boot of Michaela Hyde.
That sort of sums up the game right there, that moment where Swans had the opportunity to just toe poke it through. They thought they'd finally found their way into the game through that goal, and then, yeah, desperate touch on the line.
So the girls circle up. There'll be some tired bodies there. It was a slug for most of the game. It was a fiercely competitive game. Lots of body contact, so you can see basically exhaustion.
Yeah.
Relief on one set of faces and disappointment on the other. I'd suggest the Swans will get together quite quickly here, wrap this up, and look towards Subiaco, who will be celebrating tonight after finishing 4th just, and then knocking off Claremont on their own deck. Well, a man in front of the screen was important at different times. Cassie Davison was good throughout the game. Kate Bartlett iced the game when she was supposed to. Fenton had a ton of the footy. So Duffy came alive, particularly in that last quarter. It was time to drive some space. And the backs from Peel, who were terrific last year, were good again today. Demi Little on screen. Very good in the back line. Chloe Wrigley probably played one of the best games she's played this season, I think, in terms of effort, determination and effectiveness. It's all hot smiles and happies and kisses inside the Peel huddles. We're going to go down and get their song, which is quite unique. They tried to adopt the Peel Footy Club song, but they decided that their song was better. They like the song, and they like to sing it after a good win against an old foe. Swan Districts, as we said before the game, 8 wins from the 10 starts. Sorry, 6 wins from the 8 starts. And the modern competition, which is the WAFLW. This win is the one that counted the most for Peel because it sees them get 2 weeks preparation for the biggest game of the year. And no strange to that one, of course. Played in the grand final last year against top of the table Subiaco and pinched it on a day where conditions are very similar to this. See the celebrations in the Peel huddle as we wrap up our call. Thanks very much to Jen Wallace. It's been terrific working with you again. Hopefully the dream team can get together next week with Dave Lindsay listening at home after a big day at the Netball Centre. And myself, Clint Degebrot, and Jen Wallace for next week's qualifying final. Some highlights here. Webb was very good for the Swans. Chippy Dowson held back position beautifully for Peel throughout the day. Bilsich was one of the best on the ground in terms of her contested ball. Skinny Osborne has done today what she's done so often in her career, which was to be able to continue to repel Oppo attacks. Welstra had a crack at different times. Both teams were good. On the day, it was Peel Thunder too good. Their 2 goals enough to secure a grand final berth. Grand final, of course, at David Gray's Arena, the old Rushton Park. We'll be there, that's for sure. We'll certainly be with you next week as we see Chippy Dowson do again what she's been able to do. Sarah Verrier was important. A couple of players due back for both sides. It should be an interesting game next week. Swan Districts versus Subiaco. It's been great to be with you today. It's also been great to be inside behind glass on this rainy day at Bassendean. Thanks very much to the truck, all the team that put this production together. WAFLW, Optus, of course, the West Coast Eagles, Simply Energy and our sponsors. Amara Cameron will be in an ice bath for 7 days, I'd reckon, to get up for next week after that big hit. Of course, Bilsich just doing the right thing. Thanks very much. Again, front row screens. It's great to have your company and your help bringing this great game, great competition, WA's female footy to you each week. See you next week.
This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the WAFL and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.